You wake up on a pile of straw. It is crawling with bugs. Your back aches. The air is heavy with smoke, human sweat, and the smell of manure. It is colder than you expected, or maybe hotter. There is no insulation, just walls of timber and wattle. No windows, just holes with cloth over them. No mattress, no pillow, no sheets. The fabric scratching your skin is wool that hasn't been fully cleaned. It still has the oils from the sheep. You are hungry, but breakfast is not a guarantee. There is no refrigerator, no pantry. You might be handed a piece of bread, hard and dry, made with coarse flour and filled with bits of grit from the millstone. If you are lucky, there is some ale to drink. It is warm and weak and cloudy. It tastes unfamiliar, but it is safer than the water, which is filled with bacteria. You know this because your stomach is already starting to turn. The locals do not get sick. You do. You are not used to this world. You step outside and immediately regret it. The streets are made of mud and waste. People empty their chamber pots into the alleyways. There is no sewer. There is no drainage. You step in something you do not want to identify. The stench is overwhelming. Animals walk freely through the streets. Dogs, pigs, chickens. There are no leashes. There are no fences. Everything is alive and everything is dirty. There are people staring at you. Your posture is strange. Your teeth are too straight. Your eyes look out of place. You are clean in ways they are not. Your speech is wrong. Your accent is confusing. You are already a target. Suspicion grows quickly in small communities. Outsiders are rarely welcomed. You are either mocked or avoided. At worst, you are feared. You are wearing the wrong shoes. They blister your feet. You have no calluses. Your muscles are soft. Everything aches. You try to help carry something, and you fail. You try to lift a bucket of water, and you spill half of it. You try to help with firewood and cut your hand on a splinter. There are no gloves. There is no antiseptic. Infection starts here. There is no privacy. People live on top of each other. Entire families share a single room. People sleep in shifts, some on benches, some on the floor, some sitting up. Children cry through the night. Adults snore. There is always noise. There is always movement. You are never alone. You hear someone coughing violently. It is not a cold. It is tuberculosis, or maybe the beginning of plague. There is no test, no diagnosis, just superstition and prayer. People will try herbs. They will try charms. They will bleed the sick or force them to vomit. Most of it will not work. You try to clean yourself. There is no soap. There is no clean water. You rub your hands with ash. It only makes you dirtier. You try to relieve yourself and realize there is no bathroom. Just a hole or a bucket or a ditch behind the house. You hope nobody sees you. By midday, your head is pounding. You are dehydrated. You are malnourished. You are confused. The language is familiar but not right. People speak a dialect that does not match anything you have heard. You cannot ask for help. You cannot explain yourself. You do not know the customs. You do not know the expectations. One mistake could be fatal. One insult could be enough. If you are in a city, the air is thick with smoke from cooking fires and forges. If you are in a village, it smells like livestock and rot. There are rats everywhere. There are fleas. You scratch your arm and find something crawling on your skin. You try to stay calm. You fail. Night comes early. There is no electricity. The sun goes down and the world goes dark. Candles are expensive. Torches are rare. Most people sit in silence or sleep. You lie awake. Your body hurts. Your stomach hurts. You cannot sleep. You are freezing or sweating or both. You hear voices outside. You hear footsteps. You hear animals screaming. You try to tell yourself it is fine. You do not believe it. You are not dying yet, but you are breaking down, fast. Your skin is chafed. Your hands are cut. Your head is pounding. Your stomach is cramping. Your legs are shaking. You are hungry, but cannot eat. Thirsty, but afraid to drink. You want to speak, but have no words. This is not dramatic. This is survival. And the worst has not even started. You wake up in pain. Your joints are stiff. Your stomach is still unsettled. You are hungry, but food is scarce. You are sick, but help is dangerous. You try to find a healer. If you are in a town, there may be a barber surgeon. If you are in the countryside, it may be an old woman with herbs. There are no hospitals. There are no trained doctors. Not the way you know them. They do not understand germs. They do not sterilize their tools. They believe illness comes from bad air, imbalance, or sin. They believe bleeding you will fix it, or purging you, or applying leeches, or drilling into your skull to let the demons out. You explain your symptoms. They ask about your urine, its color, its smell. They may taste it. They diagnose by astrology. Your condition is ruled by the moon. Your fate is in the stars. The treatment will not help you. If they choose to cut you, they do it without anesthesia. If you scream, they tie you down. If you faint, they consider the procedure successful. You may be given a tincture made of lead or mercury. You may be told to drink animal bile. You may be burned with hot irons. You may be bled until you pass out. This is considered good care. There are no antibiotics. There is no clean bandaging. If your wound gets infected, they might try honey. They might smear it with lard. If it smells too bad, they may amputate. If your tooth hurts, they pull it with pliers. If your eye gets infected, they lance it. If your leg swells, they cut it open. There are no second opinions. There is no recovery room. There is no aftercare. If you survive the treatment, you are lucky. Most do not. You have seen people die of diarrhea. You have seen children die from a cough. You have seen wounds turn black in days. People pray. They beg saints. They leave offerings. They believe the sickness is punishment. They believe it is fate. You try to stay clean, but there is no soap. You try to stay safe, but rats run across your bed. You try to rest, but the man in the next room is screaming. He was burned by boiling water. He will not survive the night. The healer shrugs. There is nothing more they can do. You ask for water. It is warm and cloudy. You drink it anyway. Your stomach turns again. You lie back and close your eyes. The air is thick. Your skin itches. You hear coughing nearby. It is deep and wet and violent. You hope it is not the plague. You pray you do not need help again. Because help, in the Middle Ages, is what kills you. Food is not a right. It is not guaranteed. It depends on weather, soil, and luck. It depends on whether your harvest came in, whether the miller ground your grain fairly, whether the Lord taxed you lightly or heavily, or at all. You eat what you grow, or what you can barter for. In winter, there may be nothing left. In spring, your stores may have rotted. In summer, blight or worms may ruin the fields. And when it rains too long, or not at all, the crops fail. And when the crops fail, people starve. You don't starve slowly. It starts with dizziness, fatigue. Your limbs feel heavy. You can't concentrate. Your gums swell. Your skin changes color. Your breath smells sour. You hallucinate. You weep without reason. You collapse. You won't get protein. Meat is rare. Most people eat grains and legumes. If you are a peasant, you might never taste beef. If you are a serf, you will see animals, but you won't eat them. You'll feed them, fatten them, and watch them taken by your landlord. You will gnaw on bones when they are thrown back at you. You will boil weeds and moss. You will chew bark when it comes to that. And if your village hears about a pig wandering loose or a deer in the woods, everyone runs for it. Poaching is illegal, but starvation makes it irrelevant. If you are caught with forbidden meat, you may be fined. You may be beaten. You may be hanged. If you're lucky, the guards will be hungry too. Spoilage is common. Bread goes mouldy fast. Rye mold can cause convulsions, bleeding, gangrene. You don't know what's safe. There are no labels, no inspections. You eat what you have. You deal with what happens after. The rich eat better, but even their meals are rotten by modern standards. Meat is often half spoiled, covered in spices to mask the taste. Salt is expensive, so preservation is poor. Fish arrives days late from the coast. It smells wrong, but gets cooked anyway. No one has a thermometer. Undercooked food kills people quietly. You don't know about vitamins. You don't know about calories. You eat because your body tells you to, not because you understand what it needs. Malnutrition wears you down over months. You lose hair. You lose teeth. You lose strength. You age faster. Children don't make it. Most die before age 5. Many die before their first birthday. 1/3 of every village is made up of graves for people who never learn to walk. And when a famine comes, it doesn't just kill. It changes everything. People sell their tools, then their animals, then their clothes, then their children, then themselves. They walk for days to towns that have no food either. They beg, they steal, they eat whatever they can find. Leather, dirt, corpses. You might survive a bad harvest. You might survive a winter. You might scrape through 2 years of failed crops. But at some point, the body gives up. It doesn't take much. A fever during a famine is a death sentence. And no one mourns loudly. Everyone else is too weak. This is not rare. This is not a disaster that happens once a century. It is normal. Famine visits every generation, sometimes every decade. It wipes out whole regions and no one can stop it. The land is not forgiving. The people are not prepared. And you are not ready. You have never known real hunger. You will not outlast it. There is no safety. Not really. There is no police force to call, no emergency number to dial, no camera to record what happens in the dark. There are guards, but they serve a lord, not you. There are laws, but they are enforced by whoever has the most steel. There is no trial the way you imagine it. If you are accused of a crime, you may be tortured. If you are suspected of witchcraft, you may be drowned or burned. If you are from elsewhere, if you speak with an accent, if you look like someone people already fear, you will be blamed. Punishment is public. Executions are entertainment. The crowd gathers to see a man hanged or a thief's hand cut off. They cheer when a heretic is burned. Children watch from the front. You watch too, because not watching is suspicious. You cheer too, because silence is dangerous. You do not trust your neighbors. You do not trust strangers. If your livestock is stolen, you accuse someone nearby. If your child dies, you find someone to blame. People whisper about the widow on the edge of town, the man with a limp, the family that doesn't attend church. Whispers become accusations. Accusations become action. A knife fight can start over bread, over spilled ale, over nothing. You can be stabbed for looking too long at someone's sister. You can be beaten for not bowing quickly enough to a noble. You can be whipped for walking on the wrong path at the wrong time of day. Wars come and go, and you are never told why. A flag appears on the hill. Riders pass through your village. Soldiers take your food, your animals, your children. Some fight for the king. Some fight for rebellion. Some fight for pay. Most don't care who they fight for, as long as they can loot. You hide when armies pass. You bury your valuables. You pray your house is left standing. You pray your family is not taken. There is no Geneva Convention. There are no rules of war. Pillaging is part of the deal. It is accepted, expected. If you are a woman, you are not safe. Rape is common. It is rarely punished. Women are property. They are married off young, often before puberty. Consent is not discussed. Refusal is not honored. If you are lucky, your husband is kind. If you are not, no one intervenes. Domestic violence is normal. It is justified. It is invisible. If you are a child, your world is not innocent. You are working by age 6, in the fields, in the kitchens, in someone else's house. You are punished harshly. You are expected to obey. You are not protected from harm. You are another mouth to feed, and you must prove your worth. Justice is arbitrary. If a lord kills a peasant, nothing happens. If a peasant strikes a lord, he is hanged. If a noble wants your land, it becomes his. If a priest decides you are guilty, then you are. There are no appeals. There is no recourse. And through all of this, violence hangs in the air like smoke. You breathe it. You accept it. You hope it does not touch you today. You hope you can survive until tomorrow. But there is always someone stronger, hungrier, or angrier than you. And they do not care what century you came from. You are told that life is suffering, that suffering is holy, that heaven comes later if you are obedient now. Everything you do, everything you think, everything you fail to confess, it all matters, not to the law, but to God. And God's representatives are watching. The church is everywhere. It is not just a building. It is the center of your calendar, your worldview, your fear. You are born under its blessing. You are married under its authority. You will be buried in its shadow. Priests speak Latin during Mass. You do not understand the words, but you kneel anyway. You cross yourself when they tell you to. You whisper prayers you don't understand because everyone else does. You do not question doctrine. You do not ask where Scripture came from. To question is to doubt, and doubt is a sin. You are warned about heresy. Heretics are not debated. They are punished. If they recant, they may live. If they do not, they are burned alive. You are told that fire purifies the soul. You are told the devil is real, that he lives in temptation, in women, in strangers, in ideas. If a child dies, perhaps the mother had a hidden sin. If the crops fail, maybe someone in the village made a pact with demons. If lightning strikes a church steeple, perhaps someone was hiding heresy. Witchcraft is a crime. There is no defense against it. There is no way to prove you are not a witch. If the priest says you are, others will follow. If you float during a test, you are guilty. If you sink, you are dead. Either way, the village sleeps better afterward. Monasteries hold knowledge, but it is locked away. Books are rare and expensive. Most are religious. Most are written by hand. If you can read, you are unusual. If you read something not approved by the church, you are dangerous. Science is not a field. It is a threat. Medicine is useful, but must never contradict Scripture. Astronomy is tolerated until it implies the earth is not the center. Anatomy is valuable until it requires cutting open a body. Truth is filtered through belief. Curiosity walks a narrow path. Too far in either direction, and you fall into sin. You pay the church. You pay in coin, in grain, in labor. Tithes are expected. Indulgences are sold. If your child dies unbaptized, they are lost. If your relative is in purgatory, You can pay to lessen their suffering. You are told that God sees everything, but forgiveness comes through men. Men who wear robes, men who know your sins, men who decide what your silence means. You might believe, you might not. It doesn't matter. Everyone behaves the same, because not behaving the same is dangerous. A wrong word can bring suspicion. A wrong look can lead to questioning. If the priest suspects you, others will too. You are guilty first. You explain later, if you're allowed to explain at all. Even the holy are afraid. Even the priests live under rules. Even the bishops whisper about Rome. Power flows up. It is not questioned on the way down. This is not spirituality. This is control. The church owns your mind, your death, and your hope. It shapes what you eat, how you dress, who you marry, when you fast, when you celebrate. It gives you no freedom, but promises meaning. You obey because everyone else does. Because not obeying means losing more than your life. It means losing eternity. If you are born, you are lucky. If you survive infancy, you are rare. If your mother survives your birth, she is a miracle. Childbirth is deadly. There are no hospitals. There are no sterilized instruments. No trained obstetricians. There are midwives with experience, and there is hope. That is all. The birthing room is dark, cold, and loud. The mother screams. There is no anesthesia, no epidural, no surgical intervention. If the child is stuck, the midwife pushes and pulls until something gives. Sometimes it is the baby. Sometimes it is the mother. If a complication arises, there is no recourse. Breech births often end in death. Hemorrhaging cannot be stopped. Infection is almost guaranteed. If the mother becomes feverish after delivery, she will be buried within days, maybe hours. The dead are wrapped in cloth and taken to the churchyard. Women know this fate well. They have seen it again and again. They are told it is God's will. They pray it will not be theirs. Children born weak or deformed may not survive long. There are no incubators, no neonatal care, no formula. If the mother cannot nurse, the baby starves. If the baby cannot latch, it wastes away. If it survives, it will still face hunger, cold, and disease before its first birthday. Many mothers bear children until they die of it. They are married young, often before they understand what marriage means. They are expected to conceive quickly and often. Their worth is measured by fertility. A barren woman is a burden. A wife who produces sons is a blessing. A woman who gives birth to daughters over and over may be blamed. There is no birth control. There is no consent. A husband's rights are absolute. The church reinforces this. A woman's role is to serve, to bear, to obey. Her pain is part of the order of things. Her silence is a virtue. If she is beaten, no one interferes. If she is raped, the word does not exist in the way you know it. There is no prosecution. There is no protection. Daily life offers little reprieve. She wakes before dawn, tends to the fire, prepares food from scraps, cares for children, cleans with rags and cold water, weaves, washes, hauls. She is tired at sunrise, exhausted by midday, worn down by evening. And yet she is blamed when anything goes wrong. If the child dies, it is her fault. If the husband is unhappy, it is her fault. If the animals fall ill, she is questioned. If the bread doesn't rise, if the herbs don't work, if the milk spoils, it must be something she did. Some women rebel, some run, some fight back, most do not, because running means starvation, fighting means punishment, and silence means survival. If you are born a woman, your life is shaped by obedience and risk. If you are born a man, you may marry. If you are born a woman, you will marry. and what follows is not freedom, but service. To survive in the Middle Ages as a woman is to endure. To do so while keeping your dignity is to perform a kind of quiet, invisible heroism. One no one writes about, one no one thanks you for. You live, you bleed, you work, you disappear. That is the story. You are not a soldier. You are a farmer, a tradesman, a boy with a wooden tool in your hand. But when the Lord calls, you fight. You do not get to say no. You are part of a levy. You bring your own weapon if you can afford one. If not, you march with a sharpened stick, a rock tied to a pole, or an axe meant for wood, not war. Armor is expensive. The nobility wears chainmail. You wear a thick tunic and pray it helps. A helmet, if you are lucky, made from iron hammered by someone whose name you don't know. It is heavy. It hurts your neck. But it is the only thing between you and a blade. You are not trained. You are told to stand in line, hold your weapon steady, and wait for the signal. You are told not to run, no matter what you see. That is the extent of your education. The battle begins with shouting, then movement, then noise, screaming, metal against metal, wood against bone. You see someone take an arrow to the chest, and they do not fall immediately. They stumble, they look confused, then they collapse and do not rise again. You swing your weapon once and miss. You swing again and hit something. It could be a shield, it could be flesh. You are not sure. Your hand is bleeding. Your vision is blurred. You can't hear over the sound of your own breath. You try not to cry. There is no mercy. If you fall, no one helps you. If you turn to run, you may be cut down from behind. The ground becomes slick. You step on a body. You feel it give under your weight. You do not look down. You cannot afford to. Victory means survival. It rarely means glory. You return to a village that did not miss you. Your crops are dead. Your house is cold. If you brought home loot, you are eyed with suspicion. If you brought back nothing, you are still expected to feed your family. If you are captured, you are ransomed if you are rich. If you are poor, you are enslaved or killed. If you are wounded, you are left behind. If your leg is crushed, it is amputated with a saw and a prayer. You will not walk again. War is constant. Borders shift. Kings change. Flags rise and fall. But the peasants die the same. Their names are not remembered. Their stories are not sung. Their bones lie in fields with no markers. You may be told it is for God, for honor, for justice. But you fight because you are told to. And if you refuse, you lose everything. No medals, no parades, just silence, just scars. The battlefield does not care who you were, only how long you can hold a line before you fall. There is no constitution. There is no charter of rights. Justice does not mean fairness. It means control. It means fear. If someone wrongs you, you cannot sue them. You can accuse them. But it depends on who you are and who they are. If they are rich, they may buy their way out. If they are connected, they may walk away. If you are poor and your word stands against theirs, you have already lost. Trials are not about truth. They are about spectacle. Trial by ordeal is common. You are told to hold a red-hot iron, walk across coals, or be plunged into water. If you are burned but heal quickly, you are innocent. If you sink and drown, you are innocent. If you float, you are guilty. If you confess, you may be executed. If you stay silent, they may assume you are cursed. Torture is not hidden. It is part of the process. The rack, the wheel, thumbscrews. People scream in stone chambers while clerks take notes. If they confess, the records say justice was done. If they die before they speak, it is considered their own fault. Punishments are harsh. A thief loses a hand. A liar is branded. A murderer may be hanged, or worse, broken on a wheel. Executions are public. Children watch. Vendors sell food while a man swings from a rope. You may be jailed, but prisons are not what you imagine. They are pits. Dark, wet, crawling with disease. No light, no bedding, no food unless someone brings it to you. You sit with rats and thieves and the condemned. You wait until someone pays your fine, until someone pardons you, or until you are dragged out to die. The law is not written clearly. It changes by region, by lord, by church. Some towns have charters. Most do not. What is legal in one village may be punished by death in the next. And ignorance is no defense. If you are accused of heresy, your trial is worse. You are presumed guilty. You are watched for signs, trembling hands, too much confidence, not enough fear. A question answered too quickly is pride. Too slowly, deception. If you break, they say the devil fled your body. If you hold firm, they say he clings to you. You do not get a lawyer. You do not get to speak freely. If you ask the wrong question, they suspect rebellion. If you know too much, they suspect sorcery. If you show no emotion, they say you are possessed. And if you survive the system, you carry the stain. People remember. They whisper. You are not safe again. You are watched. You are marked. Justice is a tool of power. It is shaped by fear. It is wielded by those who are not afraid to break you. And you, a stranger in a world that knows nothing of your values, will not be given mercy. You came from a world of walls that hold in heat, faucets that pour clean water, light at the touch of a switch. A world with painkillers, eyeglasses, vaccines, maps in your pocket, knowledge in your palm. A world with warnings, safety nets, and second chances. The Middle Ages offer none of that. You would not survive, not because you are weak, but because the world you know taught you to expect things this world does not offer. Rest, relief, reason. Here, every comfort is rare. Every luxury is earned with blood. Every mistake is punished without warning. You do not get a second try. You would die of infection, hunger, or exposure. You would die giving birth, or defending your home, or walking down the wrong road at the wrong hour. You would die for breaking a rule no one told you existed. You would die because your body was unprepared, because your mind still believed someone would come help you. But this world does not care if you are sorry. It does not reward cleverness. It rewards resilience, silence, obedience, familiarity. The people who lived here were not tougher by choice. They were shaped by their world, hardened by it, narrowed by it. They did not dream of comfort because comfort was unimaginable. They endured, that was all. And in their endurance, they built the foundations of the future. But they paid for it with lives half lived and bodies broken before 40. They passed on stories soaked in blood, in smoke, in hunger. You read about it with curiosity. They lived it with no other option. So no, you would not survive the Middle Ages. But they did. And that is the only reason you are here.